You can figure out a way to beat the test because it's like a video game. But the people who are winning this game, they can't hit.
Right center field and a diving catch.
You need certain visual abilities to be able to compete.
How do you train your athletes to get better at timing that pitch?
And that was more me talking to coaches more than I was talking to players. This swag is different. I got to start teaching that because my kids don't naturally have that.
Would you say that comes with experience, or do you think that comes with success? What separates elite from just average isn't just strength, it's vision, it's decisions, it's the brain actually behind the game. I'm Dr. Aakash Shah, and this is NeuroVision Edge Podcast, where science meets elite performance. And each week, we'll sit down with the top minds in coaching, performance, and neuroscience to break down that invisible edge behind elite play. If you're a serious athlete, coach, or even parent looking for that competitive edge, this is your new playbook. Get real, practical, actionable insights that you can apply on the field, in the cage, or on the court today. NeuroVision Edge, where science meets elite performance. Are you ready to unlock your edge? Let's jump in. All right, thanks for joining today. In NeuroVision Edge today, we have amazing Rob Cruz. He's the founder and CEO of The Complete Game, hitting, mental performance coach, and he's worked with MLB, NCAA, and elite softball players.
Mhm.
He's a specialist in pitch recognition, timing, and vision and hitting, along with authoring some books. So would you want to talk a little bit about your books real quick?
No, I'm just kidding. So the books, it's funny because writing has always been a passion of mine from when I was younger, as a teenager. I wrote creative writing, and there's always been a strength of mine, even in college, writing for my friends, helping them with their papers, writing my own papers. So writing comes easy to me. It's like to me, it's like one of the most important forms of communication, being able to write, the ability to articulate and express yourself through writing. The first book I wrote, I released it in 2006. It's called Complete Game: The Emotional Dynamics of In-Game Focus. And it was my way of I was kind of rebranding myself at that time. I was going through a time in business where I was kind of rebranding what I do. And the book helped me to kind of get out there and kind of establish myself as the authority in the areas of hitting, and mindset development. And when I first realized that
Yeah.
that mindset was like the thing that separates the kids who can physically do it, they can do the
Mhm.
task within a swing, but yet there was something else that the other kids had that those kids didn't have, which was mindset.
Right.
So I
So
went
that's
on
like
this.
the key.
Yeah, it's a real it's a big deal, especially high
Yeah.
level. We talk about people who want to be high level performers and
Right.
work and do what they do at a high level. A mindset is required. So when I went out to California to do a little bit of research and to watch some good softball, when I was kind of learning the game of softball, I went out and watched all the best.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that they got swag. Their swag is different. Their
Yeah.
mindset is different. Their mannerisms, their body language, the way that they approach it is a little different. I got to start teaching that because my kids don't naturally have that,
Would you say
and
that comes with experience, or do you think
it,
that comes with success or with positive reinforcement?
it comes from parenting
Parenting. Okay.
in your home environment. That's what I found. I found that the kitchen table talk, um, your environment in which have been reared as a child, how much um, adversity you've gone through. The more adversity you've gone through, the more swag you're gonna have.
Yeah, because you feel like you can handle anything, right?
Exactly. So when you start looking at the different parts of the country, and I was teaching in a part of the country when I began, where it was Coddlesville. Like everyone was coddled. It was, you okay?
Yeah.
And that doesn't help you. I mean, you got
Yeah.
resources in terms of money. These kids have resources in terms of money, but that's not the resource. This is an internal resource though that I had to try to teach, and had to try to make it difficult for kids and try to challenge them in a certain way to get them to dig a little bit
Yeah.
deeper, and I felt like I was able to do that and combine that with my natural teaching gift and my knowledge because we needed that in the region that I began teaching in. And then the book,
Right.
you don't really make money on books, but it was a way of me like, okay, hey, here's my book. And a lot of people to this
Right.
day,
Is it like a
hmm?
feel like that was a way for like those who couldn't maybe afford the lessons or afford your time or they weren't close enough, maybe a way of giving back, giving an option?
Not necessarily. No, excuse me, because back then we didn't really have social media like that.
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes I forget I have a book. Like today when you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I do have a couple books out.
Yeah, I was
But
researching a little bit like who is
I
Rob
forgot.
Cruz, right? Who's this
But
guy?
uh,
And your books came
but
up.
yeah, and so I believe that the books serve their purpose because it gives because back then I didn't really know how to incorporate mindset training in the session. People want to swing the bat. They want to move. They want to play. They want
Right.
to do it. They want to do it physically. And if I started going into mindset stuff in that session, now I'm taking away from the swings they want to take. So
Right.
here's the book. Read that on your own time. It's not an
I
intimidating
see.
book. It's 75 pages. Not intimidating at all. It's a quick read. The chapters are really short.
Right.
And it was a way in which for me to get them to start thinking about things. Oh, and it's me talking. So the
Yeah.
book is written in my voice. People have said that they can hear me when they're reading it, like they hear me talking when they read it, which is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then so the second book I did was called Swag 101. And that was more me talking to coaches more than I was talking to players. And
I see.
it took me a while to release that one because I felt like it was weird because I was going deep. I was going into some stuff that most people don't talk about, which is I think
Right.
in hindsight, from the feedback that I've gotten, people have appreciated it because I was talking about that's what people want. They want something that's not
Mhm.
the norm,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, they
So
want a deep dive.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
especially coaches.
that's what it provided. Now to this, so foundationally, the books kind of laid down the foundation of me branding myself as the guy who talks a lot about vision, the guy who talks a lot about the mindset stuff, and those are the
Right.
things that are invisible to us. We don't see what people are thinking, and we don't see how they see it. But we do see the physical part,
Yeah.
which is where most people spend their time. They spend their time on what I
Right.
call the 20%, like, which is I don't believe that we should focus on anything that's just the 20%. We should be
Right.
focusing on what's driving something that the majority of it. So I always talk about the 80-20, and 80 of it being, mental, emotional, or perceptual or sensory, right? And that's what's driving the 20%, which is the
Hmm.
physical, with that we can see. So I think that's where I'm at now, and that's kind of where I'm at. And I think with my certified coaching program, my certified coaches are really understand me more because we spend so much time together, monthly, twice a month, and we
Right.
develop all of our teaching material and all of our teaching approach around the concept of perception action.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we deep dive into the perception action part here, one, can you explain what it is and how it helps someone going from like let's say an average hitter to an elite hitter?
Yeah, I think eyeballs are so I think for the most part, most people are born with specific levels of eyeballs. Like so everybody doesn't have the same eyeballs, bottom line.
Hmm.
So if I'm in the room with three different hitters, all 16-year-old hitters, or so for example, or all 12-year-old hitters, and
Hmm.
a pitch gets thrown at them at say 70 miles an hour, all three of those hitters are going to have a different perception of how that
Hmm.
pitch made them feel or how they're interpreting that pitch. Now, the radar gun says 70, so we know it's 70. But did
Yeah, right.
each kid perceive it as 70? Some kid may have perceived it as 80. Oh, that's so fast. Some people like perceived it at right around where it is, and some
Yeah,
people like that's nothing. Let's go. That's slow. So
yeah,
the truth is only the truth to the person that's actually experiencing it. And the thing about what we know about how the brain and the eyes work, the brain doesn't really. The only way the brain can actually experience anything is through perception.
hmm
It's through the senses, and
right.
vision being like the number one sense that we have, right? In terms
Hmm.
of experience in the world, one of the most, not number one, but a very important one. Being able to see is very
Especially for
important.
baseball and softball, right? I
They're
mean,
highly visual
that's almost
sports,
like
highly
100%.
visual. So sometimes
You,
when
you
people
can't
talk
close your
about,
eyes and hit a ball.
yeah, you can't do it. Well, you can't do that, right? So for me, it's the vision piece is something that I've done a lot of research over the last 20 something years. I've chased a lot of theories in visual acuity and perception action, other sports, NASCAR driving, fighters and jet people who fly the jet fighters and their visual abilities and what they do to train it. Hockey goalies, highly visual.
Mhm.
Soccer
Yeah,
goalies, highly
super.
visual and reaction type of it,
Yeah,
anticipation type of sports. Cricket. I mean, there's just so many sports where
yeah,
you start to watch the game and when you watch the game in a certain way, you're watching it unfold, but you're also understanding a tennis player that's about to receive a serve, right? Those serves are
hmm
coming in hard.
right.
I mean, so I've always been intrigued by vision.
So,
That's one of my things. Yeah.
yeah. So if you take that principle of like perception action or
Yeah.
perceptual action, how do you train your athletes to get better at timing that pitch? Like, what types of drills would you recommend? And I know there's so many, but if you had like one that you would recommend for someone who's like beginning high school and wants to go D1, what would be the one that you would say this is a really good one that is foundational to be able to get to the next level?
Okay. So let's go to that D1 thing you said. So
Yeah.
D1 there's gonna be three levels within D1.
Okay.
There's gonna be major D1, and then there's competitive mid-major D1, and then there's mid-major D1.
Okay.
And all three levels of Division One are not even close. It's a whole different world, a whole different experience, right? Which
Yeah.
you need certain visual abilities to be able to compete when players are throwing in the mid 70s in softball and the high 90s in baseball, low to mid 70s in softball, maybe let's say,
Right.
high mid to high 90s in baseball. So it's the eyeballs are going to go there. So how we train it is first I have to identify the things that are physically what I call the visual mechanics, right? These are the things that are physically hindering a person to be their best visual athlete for the sport. And a lot of it has to do with stability, just like a camera
Okay.
system would work, right? So a camera system
Yeah.
has you have a tripod for a camera to keep it stable. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the newer cameras, including phones, have built-in stability systems that are stable. They call them
Yeah.
stabilizers. Like the iPhone has a built-in stabilizer. The Samsung
Yeah.
has a built-in stabilizer. So even if you're moving your hand a little bit while you're taking a picture, the computer in the phone is helping you to stabilize it. And we have that same feature in the human body as well. But it also helps when
Mm-hmm.
the legs are stronger and the legs are rooted and planted and anchored into the ground at the stride of the swing to help stabilize the head, which is the camera, and the eyeballs, which are the lens.
Right.
So we
So less
measure
movement of the eyes and the head, the better your focus angle will be and the
absolutely,
stability.
absolutely, and the more efficient your swing will be because, and I'll just work from the top, I'll just work from the end backwards. So it ends with eyeball and head stability, but that comes from spine stability, and spine stability comes from pelvic stability, and pelvic stability comes from, you know, anchored feet, front sides, front leg strong and firm, right, to hit against. So those things are contributing to the visual process. And I created uh, this thing called I call it a dynamic visual acuity screening. And all of my certified coaches are proficient in this screening. And what we do is we screen athletes for all of their visual deficiencies that they have in their movement patterns. And then once we screen for them, we actually have ways in which we train them and teach them how to fix them. Because we know that those things are contributing to whether or not they have these what we call mini tremors in their head movement, where they got like head wobble, and
Okay.
it's affecting the shot. It's perception.
Right.
It's affecting the actual shot that you're getting of the pitch. If you look at it like a photo being taken or video being
Right.
taken, so we try to start there as a with certified coaches. I've taught them how to start there. And I've been
So
doing that screening for a long time, and I do it in different ways with different kids because I can kind of eyeball it a little bit now because I've been doing it so long. I kind of eyeball it, but we teach it in the swing. We kind of build it into the swing as well, and then we and then we from that we know that if we've done that, we have objectively helped them visually. And I feel like everything else after that is
okay.
really subjective because you can't measure other than finding out if somebody's 2020 vision or 2018 vision. There's really no way to objectively
Right.
measure vision, and if you got somebody better or improved it,
Yeah.
we're just guessing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of thoughts on that, and we can on a different call we can get into some of that because
Hmm.
that's kind of what we do here in our office is
Hmm.
we do all those measurements. We go through about 25 visual skills and dynamic visual acuity being a big one. But
Hmm.
these are all kind of those principles of quiet eye, right? You want
Hmm.
your head, your eye, you're able to move and dart around the object, the better your accuracy is going to be. So you're laying that foundation pretty much ground up, right? You're saying from the legs and then going up spine
Well,
and then
yeah,
head and
yeah.
eyes. So
We
that's
train
amazing.
it. We train it because we realize that the hardware of the body is what's holding the visual system. The visual system is living in that. It's living in the head.
Hmm.
So the head has to have that support from the other parts of the body to stabilize itself. That's a big part of it, And a lot of
Right.
times it's people don't realize how
So,
much their head moves until you show them on video. Look how much your head's moving while the ball's in flight. That's a
oh
lot.
yeah.
That's affecting your perception, and not only that, it's affecting what type of angle you're going to create. Now, some people believe that you can train vision
Hmm.
without the bat. Let's go sit at the computer. Let's play these games. Hit that button quick. What's on the screen? Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you can go out there and you can
It
find
may not transfer as
studies.
well.
Right. You could find studies that are going to support that it transfers, and I can also find studies that are going to support that it doesn't transfer. But what I've found in my
Yeah.
experience in working with hitters, and I've tried them all. I've tried everything from right eye vision. I bought a $20,000 system from right eye, and we did all these tests, and we were doing all these sports vision tests. And I'm like, you know what I realized? I realized that you can figure out a way to beat the test because it's just like a video game. But the people who are winning this
Hmm.
game on they can't hit. They have good visual skills, but they don't have baseball, softball visual abilities. There's a difference because you gotta
Yeah.
match
So,
a bat angle. You gotta match a bat angle to the pitch. So we have to teach it
yeah.
together. You have to teach vision with
Right.
a
And
bat.
that's the key, right? Is exactly. You have to blend them together. It has to be actionable, right?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, the transfer effects are going to be low. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's very, very key. And I think that's
Mhm.
where some of the vision training can go wrong is you buy a subscription and you do something, 20 minutes a day and you expect direct transfer. It's not going
Mhm.
to transfer until you're wearing those strobe glasses and hitting a ball, until you're doing some of the exercises as maybe a pre-shot routine and then hitting a
Mhm.
ball after. And so
Mhm.
those are, just a couple examples amongst many where, and I think we should talk more because there's a lot I could learn from you. And And I think you'll learn a new way of thinking about things with vision transfer effects with some of the stuff we do in our office. But we'll
Hmm.
save that for a different day.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk more about pitch recognition. So if you have, let's say, a high school athlete, up and comer, and they're having trouble recognizing pitches, what advice would you give them, and what would be maybe a couple of drills or a drill that you would recommend to have them start recognizing pitches earlier?
So let's just look at the word recognition first. Recog.
Yeah,
Let's just take the word. Re again. That's what re is. The prefix re is again. Cog
yeah,
is associated with cognition and how the brain processes, right? Right. And then we have this memory thing, this
yeah,
memory, right? So hitting essentially in recognition is it's memory, it's attention, memory, um, memory storage, memory retrieval. So we got recall. And the best way to do that is to have as many live at bats as possible. To get in the batter's box
yeah.
and play baseball or softball as often as you can and see as many curveballs as you can, see as many drop balls as you can, see as many rise balls as you can, because it's really about recognition. That's what it's really about. So I'll give you an example. I'll give you
So
an
let's
example.
say,
I'll give you an example.
you know,
I'll give you an example.
yeah, go ahead.
Let's say I have three players in front of me. Player A, player B, player C. Player A has never played in a game where she has seen a rise ball. She's never seen a rise ball, ever. Player B has seen rise balls, but has been injured for about 6 months, 8 months. Hasn't played in a while, but she has seen rise balls. Player C just played last weekend and saw a ton of rise balls in game. We take all three of those players to the game the next day. Player A, who's never seen a rise ball ever, is going to struggle big time. She's gonna chase. She's gonna look bad. Got it? Player B, who has seen rise balls but just hasn't seen them recently, may need a game or an at bat or maybe two games. But after those first two games or that at bat, she's gonna be like, okay, I got it. I'm back. And
Yeah,
player C, who just saw rise balls the weekend before, first pitch, first game, she's on it. She got it. That's kind of how that works.
right.
How we teach recognition outside of game experience. Um, there's a number of ways in which I do it, but I think for me, I like to add what I call emotional context or in-game context to all of my drills. So one example is my hitters that come in, um, we never take a swing without knowing what the count is in our head. What is the count? That's number one. Because if the count is in my favor, like something that's less than two strikes or something like that,
Hmm.
then I don't necessarily have to swing. I could be a little more patient. I could be a little more picky. I could be a little more picky,
Okay,
right?
right,
If I have a two strike count, I have to expand my strike zone because now
right.
borderline pitches can be called strikes against me. So we're changing the context of the incoming pitch and how we approach it, pitch to pitch. I also like to teach hitters how to hit in zones. Oh, you gonna say something?
Well, I was just gonna say,
Mhm.
so you gamify your practice and your drills. So then, would you tell them, okay, this one you have to try to hit, even if it's not in the strike zone? How do you implement that?
Sometimes I do that. It's funny. I did a social media post where I had a kid swing at everything no matter where I throw it. If I rolled it on the ground, you
Ah,
got to swing. If I throw it 3 feet off the plate, you got to hit it. If I throw it high as your nose, you got to hit it. If I throw a ball right at you,
love it.
you got to get the bat to it. And all I was doing was training her to have eye to hand to bat to ball skills. I wasn't training her
Yeah.
to chase bad pitches, but they went off on social media. You can't teach kids how to, and that's the part that's fun. because it's fun listening to the commentary. And but what I was doing with
Right.
that kid was helping her to realize that she has to know where it was more like a proprioceptive type of training. I do a lot of proprioception work,
Yeah.
and her understanding where the sweet spot of the bat was in space and improving that.
Hmm.
Then when you shrink the strike zone down, it's easier because we did it we did it when
Right.
we expanded the zone. So now when we go back to like shrinking the zone, I have more control and barrel awareness of my bat in space, particularly the sweet spot of the barrel.
Right.
That's only about the
Yeah.
size of a dollar bill. Actually,
Yeah.
the sweet spot of a bat is probably like about the size of that. It's probably about it, if that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Um.
And you
So
and you
yeah.
gotta not only hit it, you gotta time it so it's
So
flat, right?
there's hitting, there's timing, and then there's not only just timing, but there's angular stuff like there's an appropriate
Hmm.
vertical bat angle.
Hmm.
That's the best quality of it's going to give you the best quality of contact on pitches in terms of the height of the pitch, or whether
Right.
it's outside to inside or anywhere in between. So this is where and then it's moving. I mean, and then you got velo, then you got change of speed. I mean, it gets. And then the next thing we do in recognition, well, I'll say, okay, a big thing for me is teaching plate discipline, and I think plate discipline is probably the biggest compliment I can give a hitter. Like if you have discipline, that means you're seeing the ball really well. You don't chase. Your chase rate is low. And a hitter that has a lower impulsivity in their swing are not jumping at pitches and chasing pitches as much. And it goes back to those foundational things that we talked about earlier, like with regards to like minimizing head movement and spine stability and being centered, nose above the belly button throughout the entire swing. All those things are important so that we're actually getting a better perceptual representation of what the pitch is doing and what it's about to do. Because we're in two areas of time in hitting. We see some of what the ball has done past, and then we
Hmm.
see a lot of where the ball's going. We really don't see the ball. There's really no present. Because what's the
Right.
present? I mean, what is
So it's
that?
more
The present's
right.
gone already. The present's gone.
Right. It's so fast.
Every time we say a
Right.
word, the present's already gone. So we're
Yeah.
always in hitting, especially at that speed, we have visual information from where the ball has come from, and then we have a visual prediction of where we think the ball's going. And we're trying to
Right.
create
The
it
anticipation.
anticipation, not reaction, but anticipation. And we're trying to create a collision. We're trying to create a proper, effective, efficient collision if we're
Yeah.
good. That's eyeballs. That's
Yeah.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was talking to Perry Husband. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, heck yeah, I know who
And he
that
was
is.
talking.
Heck
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I just talked to him not too long ago,
Hmm.
and we were talking about the bat position, and he was mentioning how nowadays we're seeing more of that kind of bottom to top, a little different angle in how the the ball's getting hit versus it depends on what pitch is being thrown, obviously, but the bat angle and his concept of effective velocity. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you think I mean, obviously the bat angle is going to have to match the pitch, but what are your thoughts on the effective velocity? Do you buy into that? How does that play a role in teaching while you're hitting?
So it's factual that if a hitter just saw a changeup, and let's say that changeup is let's say it's 58 miles an hour, 56 miles an hour, right? And then the
Yeah,
next pitch they see is 64, 5, or 6. It's going to be a lot more difficult for that hitter to catch up to it, and it's going to appear to be faster than it is.
okay,
That's just facts, and vice versa, right? And so effective velocity is
yeah,
understanding um, the differences in miles per hour per location to create a different perception for the batter, which makes it so difficult to hit. And
right,
a pitcher has to have multiple speeds to be effective nowadays because some of these hitters are really good. So the science and the approach that Perry Husband has created in pitch calling and pitch strategy It's just manipulating the perception of the hitter. That's all he's doing.
Okay.
And
So he
that's a big deal. He's
right,
pitching against vision. And perception.
right,
He's
right,
he created a system that actually proven and works. And he has it down to the mile per hour with the location, which is great.
right.
So for us, like I have to tell my hitters this. Okay, so um and this is funny. Um because I work a lot of change-up stuff. So I'll throw change-ups and I'm not throwing from the full speed, but I'm throwing it slower with the same arm speed, and I'm throwing it fast with the same arm speed. But the way that I release it helps the hitters
Um,
to be able to feel a change-up or feel a game speed pitch based on how close I am to the batter when I do my front toss. So
right.
I do a lot of front toss between 10, 8 feet away from the batter because I can be more accurate and I can make my changeup feel like game and my fastball feel like game,
And do you think that
even though I'm
helps,
not
like
pitching it.
giving him like I'm sorry. Do you
You know, go
feel like
ahead.
that helps giving him different speeds, back to back to back?
So what I do, the way I do it with my hitters that I know are going to go face that kind of stuff, that if I'm preparing a senior in high school, a junior in high school, a sophomore in high school for a level of like the SEC in softball, our conversations are different. Like we're talking about these things. We're talking about I'm going to throw you a change up on this pitch, and then I'm going to throw you a really hard pitch inside. So now you have to, in your head, you have to be earlier than you think you need to be because you're going to perceive it as faster.
Yeah.
So in order for me to counter what the Perry Husband disciples are doing in pitching, I have to train my hitters to understand if you just saw a changeup, you're probably not going to get another one back to back. That pitch coming in next is going to be harder than that last changeup. So whatever you think is going to be, you need to be a little bit more out in front just to be
Yeah.
on time to compensate for what your perception is going to actually perceive. And I don't know if I said that right I don't know if that was complicated or what I
Yeah.
just said,
It makes
but
sense.
but that's what has to happen in training.
Right.
And that's what we're doing because of that, because it's very difficult. It's hard. To change
Right.
these
So
speeds thing, man, like it is really crazy. It's hard.
right. So
So
you have to train that. Like they have to
I
adapt
mean,
and be able to
I do. I mean, I
get
train
used to
it.
that.
I don't know who else is training it, but I know I do.
Right.
You
Because
know,
I was
and
talking to an athlete this
yeah.
morning, and what he mentioned was he only hits one type of ball. Like he's only going to hit fastball that's middle or middle out. Like he'll only hit that, and everything else he'll try to let go. And that's how he maintains his batting percentage. And
And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I was a little taken aback.
I've trained
I was
kids like
thinking,
that.
what
I've trained kids that do
really?
that. They only hit the outside pitch. They only go oppo. And remember, it's the batting
Yeah,
average. So if you're going to get me out on the inside part of
yeah,
the plate, I'm going. If I have 100 at bats and I bat 400, that means I made 60 outs. So I'm going to make my 60 outs
hmm
on those pitches that I don't hit. But I'm going to get my 40 hits on the pitches that I do hit. And if I know that about myself, then that should
yeah.
be my approach. If you look at the mathematics of it, if you look at the math, right? You look at the math. But I will say this too. Going back to like the change up stuff, right? And the fastball change up and the speed differentiation. If you talk to a lot of pro softball hitters, right? The pros, they will tell you that sometimes they sit change up and adjust fastball. Or they
Mhm.
sit off speed and adjust hard, or some sit hard and adjust soft. And
Okay,
everybody's different. So what I try to do is I give my hitters the freedom to figure out what speed they want to look for and what speed they want to adjust to when they have two strikes. And whatever one you're better at, that's what you should do. Because some
okay.
people they're hunting change as fast as like they can do that. They're wired for that. Their brain is hardwired to do that.
hmm
But if we look at it from a logical point of view, you think we're gonna sit on the fast and we're gonna adjust to the slow. But
Right.
everybody's not wired that way. And I learned that by just talking to professional hitters and asking them, like, I noticed that you guys were late in BP today. Like, why is everybody late in BP? Because they're working on that. They're working on how deep can I
Mm.
let a ball get
Right.
without getting beat?
Yeah.
How deep can I let it get without getting beat? How deep can I let it get without getting beat? Because hitting is like it can be confusing because it's like I want to hit it, I want to let it travel, but I also want to hit it out front.
Right.
So if somebody's always late, I'm not going to tell them to let it get deep. I'm going to tell them to hit it out front. If somebody's always early
Okay.
and always out front, you know what I'm going to tell them? Let it get deeper. I'm not gonna,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I don't need to be right. I need to help them to be successful.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So and everybody's
Yeah.
different in terms of how they perceive my words, how they
Right.
perceive the game, how they perceive the game, and all that stuff. So
Isn't it crazy how like the difference between someone who is kind of the higher level player you mentioned earlier, like they can just feel their body mechanics and they can just feel their body much better than someone who is, let's say, more average or maybe will only make it to the college level. Like their ability to to make changes and to feel their body is just so much quicker and better.
yeah, and that's the goal though. I think that should be the goal for coaches. Like I want my kids and my players to be able to have more self-awareness because the players that are
Yeah. How
self-aware,
do we get that?
if you ask the right questions in between pitches, players become more aware of themselves and the environment around them.
So what would you recommend like number one drill for self-awareness?
I wouldn't say there's a drill. I would say that there's conversations to be had pitch to pitch. Like for
Okay.
example, okay, that last swing, hey, what'd you feel? And if they can articulate it, then they have a good understanding of what just happened. If they can't, because I know what I saw, but they can't see themselves.
Right.
They know what they felt, but I can't feel it for them. Based on my experience,
Would you
I kind of know what they felt based on my experience. I know what they probably didn't feel, but I want them to when I ask those questions to hit certain hitters, I'm training them on how to be more self-aware, self-analytical, but not over-analytical to the point where it's hindering them,
right.
but just aware. Okay. So on that last pitch, that ball kind of got a little deep on me. And my adjustment. So now my self-talk as a hitter, my self-talk becomes a cue, and I'm speaking to the issue.
Right.
And I want myself. So I'm training them in the area of better self-talk, more positive self-talk, immediate adjustment, pitch to pitch, not game to game. That's too late.
Right.
But in the at bat, the best hitters are adjusting pitch to pitch. I gotta leave that up. I gotta leave that up. And they're having that dialogue with themselves, and it's healthy
Right.
dialogue because we've had that
Right.
dialogue in training, so they know how to have that dialogue. That's important.
Right. That's that 80%, right?
It's mind for me, and it's mental
Yeah.
for me. That's my approach. My approach is
Yeah.
visual. Swings. Put it like this. Like I think when you watch it on TV, hitting is about adjustability. Hitting is about variability. The swing is about variability because the
Hmm.
different pitches, different pitch locations, different pitch trajectories, different pitch speeds, right? So a hitter has to be really good at being adaptable, adjustable, because variability is a real thing. Pitchers are not throwing the same pitch every time. It's not like golf where the ball's in the same place every time you swing at it, right? It's always
Yeah.
somewhere different.
Right.
So hitting has to be about variability, and we have to coach to the variability in hitting. We have to, because we're not repeating a movement.
Right.
We're varying a movement. We have to. So,
So if we loop back around to the self-awareness,
yeah,
I mean that self-awareness, if you can develop self-awareness, you can be more you can be better at variability, you can be better at adaptability, right? Because if you're more aware of what you're doing, what your body's doing, then you can make a change immediately.
absolutely, and
Would you say that's
absolutely,
accurate?
absolutely. You can make faster adjustments. Like for us, like even with my I have little 18 team that I'm working with a little in games and stuff, and I'm trying to get the kids, especially the kids that are getting ready to be college bound. Like I'm like, you have to be able to understand batter's box positioning, um, plate proximity, changing your perception by moving up, middle, or back of the box, off the plate of that pitch to see it differently,
Mhm.
but also force the pitcher to throw it differently. There's a lot of things that go into
Right.
it. And then there's the people who say, "Oh, just see ball, hit ball. It's nothing
Yeah.
serious." And for some people, that is a good plan. For some people, it is a good
Yeah.
plan to not have a plan. Like my plan is
Yes.
to not have a plan. That's a
Right.
if that works for you, that is a
Right.
great plan. Do that. But
Yeah.
everybody is
And
not
there
is
was
not wired that way, right?
right. And there was a study done that they tested, and I forget if it was MLB or college, but they basically took batters and they were trying to test swing thoughts. And so they had batters who didn't have any swing thoughts and felt they were looking more external, meaning focusing more on external environment. So not really on things internal with their mechanics. And they did tremendously better versus when they started having internal thoughts about their swing mechanics or how they were going to hit, that like plummeted their ability to actually hit the ball well.
Yeah, I've read those studies. So it was turns with my certified hitting coaches, right? We are 100%. All of our cues are going to be external. We're not going to have cues. I'm going to give a player a cue of next pitch I throw you, hit it higher than my head. I'm taking it off the body. I'm taking it off the body so it's not no longer
Right.
internal. Next, if you're looking for a pitch that
Right.
if you want to go opposite field with, focus on hitting a field goal through that gap, and your body will self-organize
Okay.
to align itself with the intent you've created. And I just use this. I say
Just cut out a bit.
you got to have an intent. It's like hitters have to have an intent. If a hitter has because being internally focused is going to slow you down. One, being externally focused, you're going to maintain the speed that you got to have to of the body, but because you're not focused on is my back shoulder here, is my elbow here, is my you can't do that. You can't do that in competition. Not when the game gets fast. You can't. Not high level.
Right.
Not high level.
Yeah. Can you say that last part one more time because it cut out a little bit?
I said not high level.
No,
Uh-huh.
the last two sentences.
Um, once you're,
It was the intent and the intent and the body alignment.
right. So the intent, um, if I'm intentional and I'm externally focused, my body is going to self-organize
Oh.
based on that intent. But my intent has to be external because when it's internal, I slow down. And I'm
Right.
not fast enough anymore. And I'm thinking my way through my swing.
Right.
And if I'm external,
Yeah.
that just means I'm focused on something that's outside of my body. I'm focusing on maybe and, we do a lot of work where okay, if I'm in a closed environment like I'll say okay, we're gonna hit everything above the Miss Pac-Man machine, and I'm throwing to a right-handed pitcher. They're gonna hit line drives above the Miss Pac-Man machine. Now, guess what their body's gonna do? It's gonna self-organize to create the proper angle and path. And I did not give
Right.
them an instructional cue. I did not give them an internal cue, and it just happened. What I needed to happen happened because they made the thing happen. They made the external uh, result happen, and their body moves accordingly.
Right.
You just did it. We didn't even talk about mechanics. I, I'd rather not talk about
Right.
mechanics, and a lot of times I don't. A lot of
Right.
times it's just we straight up just
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out external cues. I'm just throwing out external cues, and kids are good listeners, and they're trying to make the
Yeah.
thing happen, and they're like, "Well, you just did what I wanted you to do, and I never gave you any instruction." But see, the internal cue teaching model is what 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. The more advanced, smarter coaches, and my certification is based on this. It's we're externally we're speaking to the external part. We're not focused on body. We
Right.
know body.
And
We know yeah.
during training, you might do internal, and then during the game, you're doing external, or are
So
you
like
practicing external?
like we know the body and we want the kids to understand the body, but sometimes for certain kids, especially in season. Like right now, we're all training our kids while we're in season. Like we should be focused. We are. We're focused on like game time stuff.
Okay.
What's happening in the game? What are you struggling with? What are some of the solutions you do? What are some adjustments you're making on these types of pitchers? You know, and then and we're helping our kids that way. When we get to like September, October, November, September, maybe through February, which is typically the off season, or they play less games, then we could be more, I would say, instructional. Or
Right. So the internal focus, there's a time and place for it.
there is,
And that's
there
not
is
in season. That's off season.
for us, yeah.
Right.
For me,
Yeah.
preseason and off season.
Okay.
And
Preseason. So,
I'm
yeah.
working both, but it's how
Right.
much am I working one or the other, and what season am I in?
Ah,
Because
okay.
I'm teaching to the season. I'm teaching. I got off season type training, preseason, and I have
Right.
in season, right? So if I'm
Right.
preseason, I'm still doing some external stuff because I'm still training this. I'm still training how we organize our thoughts, but
Right.
depending on the player, maybe not as much.
Right. If
You
we go
know?
back to the self-awareness, because I think
Yep.
this is huge, the
Yeah.
self-awareness portion, especially with a lot of your philosophies. That self-awareness you mentioned, after every pitch, we're having a conversation, we're seeing how they're organizing their thoughts.
Hmm.
Now, if they don't have a coach with them and they're practicing, let's say at a batting cage, would you recommend they record themselves and so they can look back and self-analyze and maybe go through that conversation with themselves? How would they do it if they don't have a coach next to them?
See, I think I don't see. I honestly don't believe that. Okay, there's a fine
Sure.
line. So if you ever been in a professional environment in pro baseball, right?
Uh,
The pro baseball hitting coach knows which guys should watch video and which guys shouldn't. He knows which guys should see video of themselves or maybe see videos of someone else.
I see.
And you ask them that question. How do you want to get your information? Do you even want your information? If I'm going to get exit velo, bat speed, some guys
Mhm.
we're not even showing him. We're going to take that information. We're going to use it for ourselves and develop an approach for that player because that's going to be a distraction for that guy. And then
Right.
because once you're a
So,
pro ball, like you know how you want to receive information. Do you want to have a one-on-one meeting? Do you want to know right
right.
away? Do you want to
Right.
have you want it in an email? Do you just want the data, or do you just leave you alone?
Yeah.
I got my own guy. Leave me alone. So
Right.
everybody is truly really different. And if I start bombarding kids
Right.
with being over analytical on information, especially my kids who are overthinkers, like my Yale kids and my high academic kids that are gonna
Uh,
go to Duke or whatever,
right.
they're
Yeah.
already wired to be over analytical. So I might
Right.
even have a conversation with some hitters. I might say, okay, we're about to talk about this. I need you, and you to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't even want to. This is not
Yeah.
even for you. Please go away.
So, yeah, that's something that we incorporated here with like a personality assessment, and we kind of judge to see how do they learn, and then second,
Mhm.
what's their personality like? Are they over analytical? Are they overly emotional? Like
Mhm.
the way you talk to someone is dependent on their personality. So for you, how do you judge that? Is it just getting to know them and you
I get
figure it
to
out,
know
or is it through
my
like a
kids that
survey, a
yeah,
test?
no, my kids that come in, I ask questions. Hey, so what's your GPA? So what's your favorite subjects in school? You like to
Yeah.
dance? You on TikTok? You dancing? I got rhythm. You dancing? You got
Yeah.
rhythm. You like to dance?
Right.
So I know what questions to ask because I've been doing this. I like this is what I do. Like I'm not a
Yeah.
novice at this. Like I know how to read personalities, and I know how to.
Right.
My emotional intelligence level, and for us, like even with my certified coaches, we're learning. It's not even about what we know. It's about knowing how to take what we know and how to coach it.
Right.
But so many people are focused on knowing. Everybody, if you got
Right.
one of these, you know you can find out. If you don't know, you can find out. I got one of these. I can find out anything. But the
Right.
key is,
Yeah.
can you coach it? If you have a
Right.
team of 18 different types of hitters, 18 different type of personalities and different types of people, do you know how to put them into groups where they have
Yeah.
corresponding characteristics? corresponding learning characteristics. I call them buckets.
Right. Do
So these
you,
are
so
my
you,
these are
you,
my overthinkers. These are my people who have no
right.
clue. These are my people who are never going to see video. I will never tell you where your bat speed is. I will never tell you what your. I will never tell you what. I will never tell you.
So if we looked at like the certified coaches, I mean, you're training a lot of coaches now. So
Mhm.
the certified coaches you have, would you say the ones that are the best have the highest emotional intelligence?
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, because you're not just coaching from a manuscript.
Right.
You're coaching. We're coaching more these days. We're psychologists. Hey, how was school? I got 12-year-olds coming in. Hey, how was school? School was great. We did this. My teacher doesn't like me. The kids want to express themselves. They want to care that they want to
Hmm.
know that you care. And then I'll
Right.
remember that she was struggling in math. And a month later, I'll be like, so how's math going?
Yeah.
Like, just it makes it easier to coach that kid because I'm connected. This guy remembered that I was struggling in math. That's kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
so it's more than just come in, get the bat, let's go. It's like, hey, especially I
Right.
work with a lot of female athletes, and that's important for female. It's very social. So the way I set my class, I
Hmm.
do four player classes. I consulted a sports psychologist in how to set up classes. I don't believe in one-on-ones. I don't believe one-on-one. I don't believe one-on-one by itself is healthy for the long-term development of an athlete. So in my four-player
Oh,
class, three things happen. There's some one-on-one with me and the player. There's some individual work being done with that player by themselves, self-reflection, independence, independent learning. Um,
right.
and then there's where they work with a partner. There's social learning,
Right.
all happening within the 1 hour session. And then what happens
That's
is,
amazing. That's a good.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I was saying
So,
that's amazing. I mean, that's
so
research based. That
absolutely,
when you.
absolutely, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm this. I we doing something different over here, and I'm trying to encourage my other, and some of them are catching on and like feeling more comfortable. But the clients, are they going to want me? Are they going to want one-on-one? The clients are coming to you as the expert because you're the one who knows best because that's why they're coming to you. So if you
Yeah.
explain it and if you explain it to them the way that I'm explaining it to you, and you help them understand the benefits, because when they get to college, they're never going to have a one-on-one.
Right.
It's one on 20.
Right. Yeah.
And the person that's the one a lot of times don't even know what they're doing. They're just
Right.
managing the activities. You're on
Yeah.
your own. Like you got to be able to figure it out. So
Yeah.
I want my kids to be figure it out kinds of kids. Hey,
Right.
I need you to know why you had a bad weekend. Talk to me.
Right.
It didn't work
Yeah.
out. What happened? Did you get a good pitch to hit? No, I
Yeah.
didn't get. No, I didn't get really good pitches to hit. So why did you swing at them? You should have
Right.
been walking them. Those should have been walks. So are you missing? Yeah, I'm missing.
Self awareness, problem
Self-awareness.
solving.
Right. And internalizing
Yeah.
it and being able to analyze it so you can make adjustments and adaptations. So did you hit the ball hard this weekend? No,
Yeah.
not really. Why? So were you missing under? Were you missing over? Were you missing early? Were you missing late? Were you missing around? You got to be able to answer those questions. So now I'm teaching a 9-year-old how to understand how she's missing. And I don't mean just totally missing the ball. I mean, you can miss, you can miss hit.
Hmm.
So are you under? Are you over? Are you around? Are you late? Are you early? So all these things that they have to be able to, and I'm teaching them how to do that because
Right.
that's the level that we're taking it to.
That's with every sport. I mean, that's with life, right? If you are not self aware, how are you going to make improvements? You don't even know what needs improving.
And that's why there are levels, right? There's only so far you can go if you're not able to do that. Your consistency is going to it's going to show up in your consistency.
Yeah.
And if I'm truly getting players ready for college, and I'm truly getting you ready to maybe win a starting position as a freshman, or make an impact on the college team as a freshman, if I'm getting you ready to do that, a coach is going to appreciate your level of maturity as an athlete. And because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Mhm. Oh, totally. Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
it's more than for us. It's more than just we're teaching this thing called hitting. We're teaching this thing called life. I think it's more
Yeah.
human development. It's really human
Totally.
development more than it's sports development.
Oh, yeah.
For the kids, it's the sport, but for us as the adults, it's like we hope we're making an impact
Right.
at a much bigger scale.
No, you're pretty much a life coach. I mean, ball is life, right? So you're pretty much a life
Yeah,
coach.
I would like to think that some of the things that we're doing translate to life
Yeah,
stuff, and
no,
we hope
totally.
it does. You know.
Yeah, it totally does. Well, this is a good transition to go into the quick swing segment. So I'm just going to ask you three just because we're running out of time.
Yep.
Three quick questions. Just give me your first answer that pops into your head. So, who's the best MLB player that can recognize the pitch? So, best MLB player with pitch recognition right now.
Oh, right now, currently, oh my
Yeah,
God,
current.
probably Aaron Judge.
Okay. What about all time?
All time. I don't know. Probably Aaron Judge because
Okay.
he's been consistent.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about
his ability to do what he's been doing. But Manny Ramirez was really good at it too. But Manny, Barry Bonds, maybe all time. I mean, there's been so many. I mean, that's
yeah,
why they're there. I mean, you talk about the big leagues, they're there because they're good at that, right? That's why they're there.
right.
So you look at this, so many, but I come to mind, I would say Aaron Judge because currently he's up there. But you got Bonds. I'm a big Manny Ramirez fan. He was just a dangerous hitter. That dude
Yeah.
was dangerous. Gosh. And I played against him in high school too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I played
Okay.
against Manny in high school. He was the same way in high school.
Yeah. Just
He was the same
lethal.
way. Yep.
So, number two, which pitcher do you feel like has the best command right now in the game?
So I don't really watch baseball, to be honest with you. I don't watch it. The reason why I
Okay.
know
You want to do
Aaron Judge is
softball?
because I follow the Yankees. I watch
Yeah.
softball. And I would say in softball, command wise, I'll probably say Kennedy, the
Okay.
pitcher from
Yeah.
Stanford. I mean,
Yeah.
she's gotten better, and I think
He has an arm.
each year she's gotten better. And what made her even more special this year than it was last year was her ability to command location and make the ball move differently this year. And then next year, we'll see what happens. She'll probably get even better. But her
Yeah.
command with velocity, I thought was she put on pitching clinics and games, which is it was amazing to watch.
So what if we go
Yeah.
to softball? Best hitter who can recognize pitches. So best hitter
Bree
with
Ellis,
pitch recognition.
Bree Ellis, Arkansas. She transferred from Auburn. I remember her. I used to work with Auburn a lot. And I remember her at Auburn.
Yeah.
But and she matured quickly, figured it out quickly. She walked. I think she may have led the country in walks this past year. She don't chase, and she essentially won Player of the Year. I mean, she had so many home runs. Her back. She almost hit 500. This girl almost hit
Wow.
500, and she's not even
That's
fast. It's not like she's getting infield hits.
right.
You know how hard it is to do that? That's eyeballs, dude. That's her recognition ability is just whoo.
Skills. Yeah.
Brie Ellis by far.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And last one. What do you think is the most overrated drill that baseball or softball players are doing right now?
Overrated is probably the high T drill. I still to this day I don't understand it. I
Okay.
don't understand why people do
Why
it.
do you think they do
They
it?
put a ball on the tee and it's I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I can't make it make sense to
Okay.
me. I've heard reasons and I
hmm
can't and I'm open-minded. I'm not even I love learning new things and I'll try something, but there's another drill. It's hilarious. People hold the ball up higher than the hitter's head, and they drop it, and the hitter has to swing at it. I'm like, what? When does the pitch come in like that? I don't understand
That's
it. It's just
not
so,
game like.
I promise you, like if you go on social media, everybody's doing that drill. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's go. To each their own.
Maybe it's just like a TikTok trend.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But again, I try to see the good in everything I see.
Yeah.
I don't look at everything with a critical eye. I try to say, hmm, I try, I really do. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
resonate, and maybe I'm just
Hey,
not
at
as
least
smart.
you're giving it benefit of
Maybe
doubt.
I'm not that smart. I don't know. It's funny.
Well, I appreciate your time, Rob. I know you're a
Yeah,
busy man, so I'll let
yeah,
you go. But we should do this again sometime. It was
absolutely. This
nice.
is this, this
Yeah,
is fun. Yeah, this is
it's
fun.
a fun conversation,
And
and
I want to learn more about what you do too.
yeah,
So
and you
one
know
day
what?
we need to jump on a call and vibe. Or
Let's do it. Yeah,
maybe I'll have you on my podcast. That's what I'll do.
there we go. Let's
I
do
have
it.
you on
Yeah.
my podcast, and I get to ask you a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, no, I really think you would love some of the stuff we do here because
Mhm.
it starts at a foundational level with some of the vision skills,
Yeah.
but then we translate it and gamify it so it's actually like we're doing drills, but we're doing at the batting cage. We're doing 'em on the field.
Hmm.
And so that's one way that we have a better transfer effect. But
Hmm.
anyways, we can talk more about it when you invite me on.
I'm down. I'm down for that. I
Yeah.
gotta. Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
if you
So
want to talk, later,
yeah,
podcast, no
I got your number.
podcast.
You got my number. We can talk. I'm always down to talk. We
Yeah.
good for
Okay.
sure.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rob.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
All right. You too.